Today we are thinking more critically about the meaning of art. So, art fulfills our sense of beauty and wonder about the world and provides an outlet for creative expression and documentation of history. So, I want you to think a little bit more deeply about your own thoughts and feelings and views of art today. We're going to think about whether art is handmade or commercial. So you can probably tell which of these mugs are handmade and which is commercial or made by a machine. We'll also talk about whether art is expressive or conveys thought and feeling. I might not know what this picture is of, but I know that there are feelings involved in the artwork. I may have told you before that I used to work at a clay center where I made my very own artworks out of clay. You can see some of these in progress in my studio. I made these vases too, going from the clay, and then I decorate them with some colorful slips. Then they become a finished product after I glaze them. Now, my artworks are what's called decorative. So that means that they are both useful and beautiful. So I could use them to put flowers in, I could use a mug to drink out of, but it also serves a function because it brings us some joy to look at. Today we're going to look more deeply at art and be art critics. So we're going to choose an artwork here and rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 and think a little bit more about the artwork itself. The first thing I am going to do is describe my object. So I want to put a number of my object in that oval. And then I also want to add some kind of a description. If it's a face or if it's a piece of furniture or something made of clay or a painting or a photograph. So you want to add some kind of a description about what it is and what you think that it is made out of. Then you're going to figure out if your object is expressive, functional, or decorative. So I have the definitions right here for you. Expressive is an artwork that shows thought and feeling. Functional is an artwork that is meant to be used. And decorative means that it is meant to be useful as well as beautiful. So that's kind of the difference between functional and decorative. Functional is it's purely meant to be used. Decorative means that it's useful as well as beautiful. So it's useful, we can use it, and it's nice to look at. Okay, so you're going to be filling in the bubbles for which one that you think your artwork that you chose is. So I think the Mona Lisa, for instance, is maybe both expressive and decorative. So you can choose more than one. Then you're going to rate your object on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being the least valuable and 5 being the most valuable. So you get to decide what you would rate your object. You can do half stars if you would like. If you can't decide between 3 and 4, for instance, you could give it 3.5. So you are going to decide if you think that the artwork is valuable or not. So you want to think of its use, or if it's decorative, expressive, or functional. And you also want to be thinking of maybe if it's sentimental or it means a lot to somebody. Then you are going to figure out where your object would be viewed or used. In a home, maybe for everyday use. In a museum for artworks that might be a little bit older or historical. Or in an art gallery for objects that were made more currently. Or you could choose other. Let's say if you could see your artwork in a garden or an outdoor setting. So you will then fill in which one you think your artwork would be viewed. Or maybe you can choose more than one. Then you're going to think of if your artwork is commercial or if it is handmade. So what I mean by handmade is that somebody made that themselves by hand. Commercial means that someone bought it from a store, maybe a machine or a factory made it. Then you're going to think about if your artwork is old, new, or if you're not sure. So you can choose then, fill in which one you think it is, if your artwork looks older, newer, or if you're not sure. Then you are going to be filling in the bottom box. Now that I want you to use complete sentences and use some of the words that we learned today: expressive, functional, decorative, handmade, commercial, gallery, home, museum, old, or new. So I want you to reflect on why you rated your object the way that you did. So give me a little bit of a description or showing your work or your thoughts. Just like you do in math, you show your work. I want you to show your thoughts here in art. So why did you rate your object how you did? And use the words that we learned: expressive, functional, decorative, where you would see the artwork being used, etc. Thank you so much.